The Time We Prayed for Joe Burrow, written and narrated by Sister Natalie Shaver. Each week in our humble mission in Cincinnati, my dad asks if anyone has an individual to add to our weekly prayers. Members pipe up with relatives, friends, co-workers, and others in the church that we know of. And on this particular recent Sunday, a certain 6-year-old raised his hand to mention someone he wanted our group to pray for. Joe Burrow. He hurt his leg this week. Now, at first listen, I was touched that our son, the certain 6-year-old, had such faith in the power of prayer. But admittedly, I was also a little embarrassed that he wanted us all to pray for the beloved Cincinnati Bengals quarterback. It didn't seem appropriate to bring up the name of an NFL celebrity on a Sunday morning when we were discussing others we knew personally dealing with debilitating conditions. None of us really knows Joe, right? But after a split second, I smiled and added, that's a fair request, and he does deserve prayer. This little conversation got me thinking, is anyone too big to pray for? Not to young, innocent Graham Shaver, and certainly not to the Lord. While some notable individuals may not seem like they need our prayers, we are all equal in God's eyes. No one's greater than the other. We all need His grace, mercy, and healing hands, even football players. Earlier this year, the entire country, and I'd argue a good chunk of the world, united in prayer for Buffalo Bills player Damar Hamlin when he collapsed on the field. His situation was a matter of life and death. And so, does that mean that all situations need to be in order for us to bow our heads, whisper a prayer, or drop to our knees? I don't recall anyone making a fuss about praying for a superstar athlete at that moment. We all immediately chose to do what we knew to do for a human being who was struggling. Alma 34 verses 20 through 25 says, "Cry unto him when ye are in your fields, yea, over all your flocks. Cry unto him in your houses, yea, over all your household, both morning, midday, and evening. Cry unto him over the crops of your fields, that ye may prosper in them." Animals, your home, and those inside of it, your crops or work, livelihood. He wants us to pray for all of it, and all of them, all of the Joe Burrows, and other big namers out there. Ephesians 6:18. Am I suggesting that we should begin listing movie stars, athletes, and pop singers on a weekly basis in our Sunday worship services? Not necessarily. That list could get quite lengthy. But I'd like to think you have the discernment to know what is appropriate and who you can pray for in private yourself. How many times have we prayed not only for the leadership of our church, but also the leadership of our country? You get the idea. Our God is so big. As the children's song says, there's nothing our God cannot do. He made the trees, He made the seas, He made the elephants too. The mountains are His, the rivers are His, the skies are His handiwork too. There's nothing my God cannot do for you. May we be quick to remember to pray for those who don't often appear to need it because of their social status or title, but perhaps need it the most. And may we also remember that no prayer goes unheard by our great God. He sees all and knows all. Nothing is too small and no one is too big for Him. It all matters. For there is no difference between the Jew and the Greek, for the same Lord over all is rich unto all that call upon Him. Romans 10, verse 12.